Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, we are doing our pre-show guide to the SuperZoo 2022 show. We were really excited to attend this show last year. It's great to see, all the great pet food, treat, all the pet brands and retailers there at once. There's a lot of great innovation, and we're really excited for the show coming up in Las Vegas this year as well. Today, I will be presenting alongside Kyle Maynor. Kyle is a retail account manager here at Spins, and he specializes working with pet retailers. And this is his very cute dog, which I forget his name.
This is Zoe. Yep.
Zoe, fantastic. And I am Scott Dicker, a senior market insights analyst at Spins, and that is my cat, Edmund. So we are going to be scouring the show with our pets in mind, and really looking forward to some of that innovation. Today we're going to go over, some of the trends and attributes that are really driving the growth in this segment, in the pet segment in general, as well as our exclusive neighborhood pet channel, where we've found that a lot of the innovation has occurred. So what kind of products, what kind of attributes are consumers seeking? What are they avoiding? To really help as a retailer, what to look out for at the show that will help grow your business. What are some of the brands that are doing this? And then what's some of the innovation that might be just scratching the surface right now that we think is going to be a growth driver in the near future? And then just to level set, we wanted to showcase how Spin's product intelligence in regards to the pet segment is really, state of the art. And it goes over a bunch of different things, from wellness ingredients, functional ingredients that have been becoming more and more popular, things like CBD or probiotics, what type of label claims are associated with natural label claims that we know that, what's good for people, they're starting to think of as good for their pet as well. So a lot of these attributes that have found so much success in the human food and supplement space have really crossed over into being drivers for the pet segment as well. And so Spins continues to invest in this segment, and you're seeing a lot of new attributes emerging. You can now see these new list of wellness ingredients that are seekers that we'll get into more, but things like turmeric, krill oil, salmon oil, things for joints, glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM. These are ingredients that you've definitely or probably heard about for the human supplement space. The joint health especially is becoming something really important to pet parents, as they've been spending a lot more time at home, either working from home and taking their dogs for more walks. Things like form, catnip and grass, bully sticks, freeze-dried, meat as the first ingredient, whole meat. So these are ways that we're continuing to innovate as the consumer's preferences around what they feed for their pet changes. So does our product intelligence staying ahead of these trends to really giving you the best look at how to grow your businesses. And so as we take a look at some of the top questions for retailers, we wanted to level set and take a look at, by channel, what's going on. And so here are the different channels that we're tracking here at Spins. So we have our neighborhood pet channel, our conventional multi-outlet channel, our natural, and then our regional grocery. We find in the pet space, most of the innovations happening in that neighborhood pet channel. So these are our independent stores, local. They're supporting their local community. We know that foot traffic's something that most retailers, are struggling with, but, pet has that built in. I'm taking for my dog for a walk. Let me stop in, get him a treat. And a lot of the innovation, and really ingrained in the community happens at that level. So we see here a lot of the growth is driven by consumables. So that's pet treats and pet food. And also, pet supplements, which is part of that pet care and wellness, is up close to double digits as well. We're also seeing a lot of growth in the conventional channel. And then, certain pockets of growth in natural and regional. But today, because, of the show coming up, and because this is where we find a lot of the innovation starts, we're going to be focused really on that neighborhood pet channel. And Kyle, do you want to start to walk us through some of these trends that we're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. So, taking a look at our neighborhood pet channel, we wanted to continue to add some context to that. So, the first thing that we took a look at was the different positioning groups. So, we can break that out at our natural, conventional, and specialty wellness positioning groups. And while you can see the natural segment makes up over 80% of our total sales, we really are seeing some growth in the conventional and specialty wellness space of the independent pet channel. There's a variety of reasons this might be happening. One potentially could be the rise in inflation, where they're looking for some more affordable options. Another potential case could be supply chain, as these more established CPGs may have more availability when it comes to that. But it's definitely something that we wanted to call out as we're seeing more of a growth in these additional segments here. The next thing that we wanted to take a look at was the different subcategories that make up some of the growth that we're seeing. And as Scott had mentioned, consumables has been on the rise and kind of really carrying a lot of our channel. But what we're seeing is the growth in pet food, up about 12.5%. Really, cat food is doing a lot of that growth here. While only makes up about 18% of the dollar share, it is up close to 15.5% when it comes to our independent pet channel, as well as pet or dog food, up close to 12%. So obviously, interesting to see kind of the breakouts among the different animal types, but definitely consumables is doing a lot of movement in our channel here. But what we're starting to really see is a demand for pet parents to have functionality included in their food. So it's no longer just finding their favorite type and kind of just going with that. They really want to see additional benefits when it comes to what they're feeding their pet. And it's really something that we started to see in humans when we really wanted to kind of use food as medicine. That's something that we're seeing with pets as well. We're looking for different ingredients that might help with digestion or urinary. So that's something that we're seeing with pumpkin being added to really help with your pet's digestion, or cranberry to help with their urinary care. So really being able to kind of demand more from their pet food and make sure that they're providing the best options for their pets. We're also, like we were saying, we're seeing the growth in consumables, and that includes treats as well. So up close to 11% year over year in our pet treats category, with dog treats kind of leading the way at 13.7%, but cat treats closely behind it. And we're really seeing some unique ways that these treats are growing, but it's definitely something as pets parents continue to spend more time at home, they're still providing their pets with those treats and extra incentives around the house for sure. But like we were saying, we're really looking for different ways and different ingredients to provide those to the pet parents. The first thing that we're looking at here is these freeze-dried minnows, up a crazy amount, almost over 700%. But really looking at these unique, more sustainable pet treat options, like lamb bites, as well as these collagen beef sticks. So looking again for that functionality with the collagen, but also finding more unique ways to get the functional benefits as well as the sustainable benefits to their pets through treats. And again, this goes back to you'll still see the typical ingredients that you see a lot. We still have beef and chicken doing a lot of movement here, as well as some of the pork and things. But really, those non-animal based is what we're really keeping an eye on as we're seeing a continued spike in that. That goes back to some of that pumpkin and cranberry and some of those unique benefits that we're noticing can have functionality for our pets and really kind of improve their diets, as well as the seafood growth that we're seeing. Another one that we're really keeping an eye on, going back to those frozen minnows, we're having the ability to have more sustainable options for our pets and not just focus on some of those main beef and chicken drivers of the past.
And I think, Kyle, it's also worth noting that a lot of this growth, and this demand that's being met by a lot of these brands for these alternative protein sources or ingredients, a lot of these pets, are on specialized diets, similar to how humans, like we've seen this new diet tribe trend. A lot of people are putting pets either for allergies, like my cat is allergic to both beef and chicken. We found out, so he's on a fish. He's a pescatarian now, and so we're seeing a lot of these brands, meet the demand of the consumers who are adhering to specialized diets for their pets, just like they are with themselves.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. Yeah, this goes back just calling out a few different brands that are really kind of innovating in this space. The first one here, these fruitables, calling out pumpkin and potato and apple based. So really those non-protein, non-animal based items here that we're able to zero in on. Icelandic, a great one for Scott's cat, and looking at some of those sustainably fished, kind of single protein, seafood based options here, as well as the Northwest Naturals, where you're looking at some duck necks here and a more unique, not your typical chicken and beef, but again, kind of based on the diet, based on the different benefits that you're getting from that, and maybe a more sustainable option as well.
So Kyle, to put you on the spot here, what kind of treats do you look for with Zoe? What ingredients are there that really call out to you, or maybe it's a specific flavor profile?
Yeah, so Zoe's getting up there, and definitely the joints are wearing out a little bit. So we're always looking for different ways to improve her joint health. So whether that's something at the collagen based or something like that is really what we're zeroing in on to make sure that she's getting the nutrients that she needs to be able to have the active lifestyle that we enjoy for her. So she's moving out to the suburbs now, more time out in the backyard and playing around, chasing my 20-month-old daughter around. So making sure Zoe can keep up. So looking at some joint medicines for sure.
Yeah, so I always say, take a look at yourself when you're looking at consumer trends, and a lot of times, what's standing out to you is what other people are looking for as well. And just one other thing I wanted to call out when we're talking about a lot of these foods and treats is this rise in, there's a lot of these like gourmet flavors or human-based
Yeah.
flavors, like human food-based flavors that we're seeing, and so a lot of that, is related to kind of the rise of the pet parent, right? And so that pet parent, they are more and more likely to be millennials. And so I always talk about how this is like the Instagram pet parent. They want to talk about how they're
Yeah.
giving their unicorn latte flavored dog food, or dog treat to their pet. And so a lot of these flavors have crossover appeal as well.
Absolutely. So
And
this is
so
the
oops,
oh,
sorry, Kyle. I was just going to say, what are people looking for when we zoom into these specific functional ingredients?
yeah, absolutely. We're getting to the seeker portion of our series here, where these are exactly what the pet parents are looking for, and things that we're going to keep an eye on, both continuing through the rest of the year as well as while we're walking the floor in Vegas. The first thing that we want to take a look at is the extreme growth in collagen. So just the benefits that you're getting from that, both at skin and coat health for your animal, up over 200%. Absolutely something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on, as well as the unique ways they're getting collagen into the diets. It's not just food, but different wellness, different shampoos, different things like that. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Probiotics, another one that really has that human crossover element to it, up over 18%, obviously helping with digestive health. Continuing with digestive health as well as that pumpkin that we're seeing. It's a smaller trend for us, but it's definitely one that's really starting to make waves, and one that we're going to continue to keep an eye on as it helps with pets' digestive health. Fish oil, another one that really kind of, I think, has that great human crossover when you're looking at heart health. It's something that we're all starting to keep an eye on, but also making sure that we're keeping an eye on our pet's heart. Also has some great benefits when it comes to skin and coat health. So really just making sure that we're providing them with the best possible options. And then cranberry, again, that was one that we touched on earlier, kind of looking at that urinary, a little bit smaller in terms of the total segment, but some pretty phenomenal growth, and one that we expect to continue. And here's where we're looking for different attributes that our pet parents are avoiding. So things we want to make sure that we're giving the highest quality pet food to our animals, things that we want to make sure that aren't being included in our food. The first one is being labeled grain-free. I know some pets kind of look for some grain-free options, but there's also those that seek out grain. So it really kind of depends, but we are seeing some pretty good growth when it comes to grain-free, ensuring that it's kind of higher quality ingredients there. The next is no artificial colors and no artificial flavors. Again, I think that has some really good elements of what we look for in our food and our day to day, but we're making sure that those are included in our pets' food as well, and making sure we're including the highest quality possible. And then no corn syrup, making sure that we're increasing the quality of food that we're putting in front of our pets. And we're really seeing some really strong growth when it comes to no corn syrup included in the pet foods as well.
Great. And then just to dive a little deeper in some of these functional ingredients that are driving, the purchasing decisions, it's not just, joint health is always very important. That's been something that was really one of the first and gateway health focuses or supplements for pets. But it's not just that. A lot of these other things that we saw and continue to see becoming very popular, in supplements for humans as well as functional food and beverage in humans has really crossed over into pet, especially at this neighborhood level. So we're seeing things that are complete canine care, and that's things like multivitamins, things that are organic, and inflammation. Something that gets a lot of media time as well. That has a impact on a variety of health things for pets. Digestion, probiotics and prebiotics, digestive enzymes, and then also things like salmon oil as a pet treat, helping with the coats as Kyle mentioned. And this is just a few of the health focuses, but we've also seen things like anxiety, immunity. This is one of the few areas right now, the few pockets of growth where CBD, for example, continues to grow. And it's been continuously growing for a few years now with pretty strong growth. And given where that product is in a lot of food and beverage for humans, it's really notable that people are continuing to look for that as a way to kind of relax their pets as well. And so it's not only the use of dry kibble and having some of these attributes. This trend along with more fresh food as well. So you're seeing refrigerated and even frozen coming into play when you're talking about the pet food. So you see some of the growth related here. So shelf stable obviously continues to dominate the market share. But when you look at growth, things like refrigerated, I've been noticing a lot more in my neighborhood pet stores, growing refrigerated presence. And so as these stores continue to dedicate more space to the refrigerator, I think you're going to continue to see that number going up and up. Right now, I think the limiting factor is not demand, but just that a lot of the stores don't have the space for it. And as we see that change, I think the growth percentage is going to remain very high, and you'll see that market share start to creep up. And then the same thing when it comes to the form. We're seeing dry continues to obviously have the large market share and is growing, wet next. But you're also seeing things like dehydrated and freeze-dried. Freeze-dried was one of the things we highlighted last year as one of the key trends to watch, and it's continued to take off as a really desired attribute among pet parents. And then finally, liquid and paste, again, less than a 1% market share, but it is growing strong. So, the thing I contribute this to, that we use like the toppers and things like that. And we use like the tuna toppers as a treat for our cat. And so I think those are ways that people are searching for that one. Although I don't think it's going to climb to the level of a freeze-dried or soft and chewy or anything like that. And to that extent, we're still seeing growth in raw position food and beverage. So this raw diet, to keep a lot of the nutrients that might be burned off during the processing of it. So we're seeing this increase in that goes towards freeze-dried as well as raw blends. And so now it's the time of our pre-show where we're going to actually go over some of the brands with their booth numbers that we're really excited about checking out. So Kyle, I know you wanted to touch on a few of these dog food brands.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely my favorite part as we get to highlight some brands that are kind of walking the walk and going through some of these different functional ingredients and things that we're seeing and keeping an eye on. Excited to visit their booths once we get to the show. So the first one that I want to call out here is A Pup Above. You can visit them at booth 3219. They're really doing some unique things, obviously highlighting human grade, which is something that we're seeing when it comes to a lot of the different pet food and pet treats, and just increasing the quality that we're serving our animals, as well as some of the single source proteins and the high protein diets. So really excited to check them out. Farmina Pet Food, located at booth 3339. doing some cool things with no corn included. So again, kind of going back to those diets, more ancient grains. So using some more unique, higher quality ingredients there. And finally, in dog food, I'm also excited to check out Kiwi Kitchens at booth 3313, where they're doing some kind of like what Scott was talking about with more of the raw and the freeze dried, but still going back to that single source protein. So some more unique ways to have that storage, and excited to check them out as well.
As we take a look at some of the cat food brands that I'll be checking out, one of the ones that we want to check out was Vital Essentials in booth 2156. This is one of the cat food brands that is, using the frozen method for some of their foods. So I think that's a pretty interesting one. They have the product here that we featured is a single duck protein source. So I think this single protein source in general is something that we're seeing more and more of. Again, as people have either a limited ingredient diet or other allergies. And then, this brand is also 100% US made and packaged. Also, we want to check out Ziwi in booth 1352, another air dried brand using free range animal meat, and they're highlighting their ethical farm. So that's an overall industry trend that we're seeing as part of this kind of good for animals as well in their sourcing practices. And so that's something that's really interesting. And then, Fromm is in booth 3439. They always have great things to check out. And so we wanted to check out, one of their newer cat foods. Of course, it's a salmon one that I'm interested in, grain-free, the addition of probiotics. So these are some of the brands that we're really excited about checking out.
Yeah, so some treats that I wanted to highlight and looking forward to checking out. The first would be Jones Natural Chews, located at booth 1448. Really great in the terms of long lasting. That was a big trend that we saw as we walked around last year, just giving them a additional mental state as they're chewing on it for a little bit longer, and really helping with the dental health, and also going back to those single ingredients, kind of high protein sources as well. Grandma Lucy's is an interesting one based on the fact that it's pulling in our cranberry theme and our pumpkin. So located at booth 3813, excited to check them out and see what they're continuing to innovate with. As well as Icelandic at booth 1472, where they're not using any artificial colors, sustainably fished, and going back to that single ingredient protein as well. So excited to see what they have in store.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting how these single ingredients or even limited ingredients is really trending in pet? A lot of people, have that in human food. Again, when they look, they hope they only see a couple ingredients on the label, not 30 ingredients, half of which they can't pronounce.
Exactly.
So this either single ingredient or at least single protein source is really something to look out for. And then we wanted to finish it off, taking a look at some of the supplements. Again, it's a smaller segment, obviously, than pet food and treats, but it is something that's driving some growth. And so one of the ones I wanted to check out was Nutravet in booth 4339. This was, again, allergy focused. As a lot of pets are growing to have allergies. It has omegas, pumpkin, bromelain, which is an enzyme as well. Super Snout is the brand in booth 4013. This is really, again, this human trendy health focuses, right? Like lion's mane has been, and other super mushrooms has been on fire in functional food and beverage. I haven't really seen it in pet yet. So I found this to be pretty interesting product. And, this brand is hemp, focused as well. And we know that hemp continues to be a strong point for the neighborhood pet channel. And then this is one brand that we have seen start in pet and are introducing a human line as well. I've seen in the past supplement companies, they start with human supplements and they might have like a pet product, but it's interesting to see them go the other way, which makes sense given some of the ingredients that they're using. And then also Green Coast Pet in booth 3503. This is a easy delivery, lickable method for some of these supplements, which is also always interesting when you're getting innovative in that delivery format. It's hemp focused and also offers digestive support. And again, that's just the product that we have on here. They have a full line of products that are really interesting and exciting to do. And with that, thank you for joining us on this short show guide. We're really excited about seeing all these products and booths and brands and retailers on display in Las Vegas. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We will also be at our booth, the Spins booth at the show, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you.